Hello and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to my segment on the channel Into the Darkness, which is dedicated to all things horror on television and film. And I've been so excited to do this for a while. I've been talking to this fantastic young actor in front of me for quite some time, been following his career, and he's achieving quite, he's stirring the pot a bit within the world of horror. In a very positive way. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Lewis Santer. So,
Hello,
welcome. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. And like I say, I've been following your career for quite some time. And obviously, you've been really like carving your niche within the world of horror
hmm
cinema.
hmm
Is horror something you've always been interested in as an actor?
Yeah, yeah, I love horror films. Yeah, I have done my whole life really. Like when I was really young, I used to watch like Paranormal Activity and like those sort of films. And
Mhm.
then as I got into like my teen sort of years, I went into like I love slasher films and stuff like that. Started going away from like ghost films, going into slasher. And then when the 2017 version of Bill Skarsgård
Yeah.
came out, I think that changed my mind as an actor. I was like, I want to play a character like that. I got really obsessed with like horror films that had those sort of big personality sort of characters.
Mhm.
And then for years, I was like, I really want to play something like that. And then eventually, obviously, went through drama school, did that whole process, and then graduated. And then eventually, Tigger landed on my desk one day, and that was it. And then now I'm just so grateful to have played some of these
Yes.
characters in the horror world.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we'll talk before we come on screen how basically when they did the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie,
hmm
how it was very independent, very like low budget, and but you could see that hard work was put into it. The director had a vision, the director had an idea and a dream, and he
hmm
put forth this idea when the Winnie the Pooh property came out to the public domain. He got it. He turned like this childhood lovely, story into a horror story, and then
Yeah.
of course he released the movie. The movie I think did really well. It did better than I think anyone expected it. And then, like you said, he was then able to carve out the actual real movie he always intended to make with the second one.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Like it's so hard in this industry to if you haven't got the time or the money or the resources to make something you want to make, it's hard to sort of convey that vision, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So then they made the first film, which I still think is a great film because bear in mind the budget that they had, and then
yeah,
obviously it had people had things to say about it, but then eventually when from the profit it made from the first film,
yeah,
and then they had the money to then make the second film. And in a way, it's like a rebooted sequel, where like
yeah,
now the first film is a film within a film.
yeah,
And it was a way of them sort of making the film that they wanted to make originally.
yeah,
And then I
yeah.
think people then really saw, oh, this is what they wanted. This is the vision. These
Yes,
are what they want for these characters.
yes,
And then now people love the universe and interested in all
yes.
the other characters now that are joining it.
Yeah, that's
So it just
exactly what
showed
I
you,
said. Yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly what I said. Like, I'll particularly like the scene. Like, one thing I will even praise about the very first film, despite the
Mhm.
budget restraints, is I like how the film started off and you had like that prologue, but it was in
Mhm.
animation and it felt like the cartoon where you got
Mhm.
introduced to Christopher Robin, and then he talked about how he befriended these creatures from the woods, and then he basically left them, and 5 years later they've become these feral crazy
Yeah, they're
creatures.
pissed off. Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
you abandoned me, you bastard.
yeah. That was it. Yeah.
And great introduction. And like you say, I love how in the second one you've got the kid who loves horror movies like we did as a kid, and he's
hmm
sitting watching the first film on his television screen. So it's a great setup and a great way of like mashing the two together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So you've mentioned, like I say, this is the poster alone
Oh yeah. Yeah.
grabs
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
How did it come about that this role came about for you, the role of Tigger?
So it's really interesting. I literally just graduated from drama school, and my first ever professional job as an actor was at the Globe doing Shakespeare, which was a
Yeah.
massive deal for me because it was like where Shakespeare put on his own plays. So when I
Hmm.
was there, I was like sort of pinching myself. And I think we were literally like a day before our first show, my agent, who I just joined, sent me the character breakdown for Tigger. And I remember reading it, and it said like Pennywise's inspiration, Art the Clown, Freddy Krueger, like all these characters that I grew up and loved watching. So already I was like, in a weird way, it felt like this was meant for me because I'm obsessed. I've got like a Pennywise tattoo, like I love a lot
Yes.
of Ghostface, all that kind of thing. So I'm like, this is really weird. Like this is something I'd love to do. And it was like animalistic. So we did like animal studies at drama school, and I loved doing all that. Had some stunts required, and I do stunts. So all of these things, it was ticking so many boxes. So
Yes.
I remember when it first got sent to me, I literally got obsessed, and I followed Reese, the director. I found them all on Instagram, and I
Yes.
followed everyone involved in the first film to be like, to try and show that like I'm so up for this character.
Yes.
And then Reese actually messaged me on Instagram, like I think the same day or like a day later, and he sent me a few clips of Art the Clown and stuff to watch, like really,
Mhm.
which was so helpful. And he
Oh,
said,
Art the Clown, yeah.
yeah, like some
That's
brutal.
another film series that started off like low budget and then it's just blew up. You
Yeah,
know,
it's really
I,
interesting actually
you
that
know,
that series is following the same sort of trajectory as our films. It's really weird
yes,
in terms of the budget sizes and how well they do. Um, but yeah, so that got sent to me, and then he went, "Oh, can we get your tape in the next couple of days?" So I had to do this crazy self tape. There's like no lines in it at all. It was just I had to walk into this room. I find this victim on the floor, and then I had to like claw him to death, and I like did all this crazy shit whilst laughing and all that. And yeah, that was it. I sent it off, and then about 2 or 3 weeks later, obviously after refreshing your emails again and again and again, seeing if we got
yes.
any messages, eventually I got a message from Reese, the director, saying, "Yeah, we loved your tape, and we'd like to offer you the role." And then that
Oh,
was it.
that's
And then it just
brilliant.
took off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really a role that kind of puts you on the map
Yeah.
because how I look at the second movie and what you did with your
Hmm.
performance of Tigger, this
Hmm.
sounds like a real weird comparison, but I remember years and years ago when I very first watched Star Wars, for example,
Hmm.
Return of the Jedi. If you
Yeah.
remember that movie, you had Boba Fett, who only probably has about 3 minutes of screen time.
I've got
It's
the,
like, yeah,
I love Boba Fett.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He has 3 minutes of screen time, and next thing
Yeah.
he became one of the most popular characters, and then he got his
Yeah.
own Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
even though the film is titled uh, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, um, he does have a strong presence in the second movie. But what I really loved about the second one is it was an assembled cast of characters. So you had Owl, you had Piglet, you had Tigger,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously I'm assuming when they get around to do the third one or even
Yeah.
um the assembled movie, you're going to introduce more, because I do know that in the assembled movie, because I've read it, that they're going to introduce hopefully Rabbit,
Yeah. Yeah.
who, you
Rabbits in the
know,
works. Yeah.
yeah, Rabbit's in the works.
Yeah.
Because I've been reading all up on it. Because once I seen the second one, I was like, this is my bag. This is
Yeah.
something I'm
Yeah.
going to enjoy. Um, so yes, really enjoyed it, and like you say, the whole last finale where it's like the underground nightclub scene, and you're basically
Hmm.
just standing and looking at the victim. The lights go off, and you just completely disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Iconic. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're just tearing shit up, and
Yeah. Yeah. No,
people,
I loved
blood
it. It's so
scattering.
fun.
I particularly like the bit where you've got the Raver who's like she's standing and you stab her feet and she falls and you
Dance
just literally
bitch.
stab
That
them.
bit, yeah, dance bitch. That's probably my favorite kill. Yeah, that was that's when I take the eyeballs out. That's the
Yeah.
yeah. When I'm following that. Yeah, it was
Mm.
such a fun character. Like even Lee said, the rave scene was my first ever scene I ever filmed. So literally got on set, hasn't even seen the full costume yet. I saw like the grey version. I hadn't seen it
Mm-hmm.
painted and with fur on it. So I remember getting on set and Reese was like, "Come with me," and he showed it on my own mannequin head. I was like, "That is so cool." So I was just on cloud nine the whole time. Then we had about
Yeah,
2 hours
like
for me to get in the costume, and then they went into the rave scene. It
yeah.
went crazy.
It's like what you see, a massive difference from the first movie, this one, the
Mhm.
production cost, the sets, the actual like, the makeup, the artistry that went into it all. You can tell the
Yeah,
directors really put everything in to showcase what the vision of what this was meant to be is.
yeah, yeah, and they work
Um,
so hard as well. Reese and Scott are just
mm,
an absolute. They're an army. Do you know what I mean? They just go, and they put like
yeah,
their heart and soul into it,
yeah.
and it pays off. It really pays
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I do think like makeup in backstage, people like costume making and all that, they do should get more praise in the industry than what they do get.
Yeah, Yeah.
because
We had the prosthetic studio work on ours, and they're so talented. They did all the
yeah,
characters.
mm,
And they worked on like Sleepy Hollow, I think Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. They worked on some
mm,
big stuff. And
mm,
yeah, they're so talented.
mm,
So no, yeah, I completely agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Sleepy Hollow, another one with Johnny Depp, another amazing film I really enjoy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they worked on that. The prosthetic studio who did the prosthetics for the characters worked on that film.
yeah,
So yeah, it's so cool to work with just talent like that. Do you know what I mean?
yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of films, obviously we know the direction of the Twisted Childhood universe. We know it's
Hmm.
going into. So far, I haven't seen all of the movies that's been released. I haven't seen Peter Pan, but the
Hmm.
one I really was desperate to see was Bambi, and I loved
Yeah.
Bambi.
If you, I can
That,
tell if you like Godzilla, so you like the big monster flicks. So if
yeah,
you like
yeah.
that kind of vibe, Bambi, yeah,
I
Bambi's
do
your one.
like
Yeah.
honestly, like I seen that I was gravitated towards that one.
Hmm.
Before we move on to other movies that you have done and things that are coming in there is another movie that is coming out in the Twisted Childhood universe that I
Hmm.
read. In what I also noticed, you are involved in that movie, but you aren't, I don't think, acting. You're doing something quite different in it because
Yeah.
you're going to be a part of the Pinocchio Unstringed film
Hmm.
and you're doing the puppeteering or
Yeah.
helping with the puppeteering. How did
Yeah.
that get evolved and how did that
So
happen?
another interesting story. So where Tigger, thing with Tigger, like it's acting, but it's such character acting. Like it's so different from yourself. Like you know, I'm playing a humanoid. Like I'm not even playing a
Yeah.
human anymore. And it's so like you've really got to change your physicality and everything to play like a half man, half tiger, which is so
Mhm.
weird to say, but you kind of yeah, it's very character based. Rather than like truthful acting, you know. So because of that, Scott, the producer, knew that I loved doing that kind of acting. Like I love character stuff. I like stuff that's a bit far, but like further from myself. So when Pinocchio came about, Scott messaged me and he said, we're building a team of puppeteers. And it's sort of, in a way, puppeteering is character acting because you give
Mhm.
this character, depending on whether you're working with the face or the head or the limbs or whatever, you're still giving it personality. So he said, I'm
Mhm.
assembling. He said, you, Martin Portlock, who plays Peter Pan, and then two other puppeteers as well we had on board. They were amazing. And it was so fun because so much goes into it. We were on set for quite a while. Just to do like the actions of the doll. And you had like Martin doing the facial expressions. You had another guy
Mhm.
called Sam doing like the head movement. I was on like the arms and the legs and the hand movements, articulating the fingers and stuff like that, and some head movements. And then we had another guy called Ross who's doing a lot of like the bulky movement.
Yeah.
And it's so it sounds so ridiculous, but there's so much that goes into it. Like there's a scene
Yeah.
where obviously I'm not going to spoil anything, but just simple things like reading a book. Like it sounds so simple, but to do everything, articulate the fingers and point to
Mhm.
things and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, you want to make him creepy. You don't want to just move it. Like you want to make him a bit creepy and also
Yeah.
innocent at the same time and give him some personality through movement. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
such a fun gig.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun to do
I've
something so different.
I've got a friend who's a massive fan of like the Thunderbirds and
Oh
the
yeah,
Jerry Anderson stuff,
yeah,
and he's told me like the history of the behind the scenes stories of how they made the puppets for Thunder and all of the
yeah,
hard work that went into actually making those particular
yeah.
series happen. And it's like you say, it takes a mountain to make something so small come
Really
across.
does. It pays
So
off. It pays off. I mean, there's one. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's one scene at the end where he does something a bit like crazy, and it took so long to get this one movement. And I remember we just going again and again and again, and then it seems so simple, and then. But when you watch it, it's hard to explain. When you actually watch the shot back and Reese edited it out, because obviously we're in like green suits and stuff like that, and he edited us out, and then you watch it, and it's like you get a different kind of pride in that work. It's like it's not just acting anymore. It's like something that's so just the little details of every tiny little movement. It's like Wallace and Gromit,
mhm.
that kind of thing, where
Yes,
there's so much
yes,
that goes into just like a finger moving or turning off a light switch or something like that. You think, oh my god, this is taking ages, but then you watch it back and you're like, oh wow, now that's why we put in the
yes.
hard graft, you know, because then it really does pay off on screen. So yeah,
Yeah, so that's gonna be like a future title. I'm assuming that movie's
yeah.
coming out next year.
Yes, I
It,
think that's coming out. I think the trailer's literally coming out in like 2 weeks or something. I remember
oh,
Reese saying
oh,
it. I think it's very soon the trailer, and I think the movie's coming out hopefully early 2026, and then
yes.
ahead of then we start on yeah Pooniverse, and Winnie 3 and many other. Yeah, there's Pooniverse's
Yeah.
first poster. So yeah, a few of the
Yeah.
characters are there.
Yeah.
But I think we're starting that next year. Don't know
I can
when
see
exactly next
Tigger
year.
there right in the corner where he belongs.
Yeah, that's it.
Uh,
Bouncing in my claws. Yeah, bouncing about. But yeah, that's
I
going to be
do
so
know
much fun.
because of the popularity of Tigger,
Hmm.
apparently they are writing either a prequel or a sequel solo story for your character called Tigger
Yeah.
Returns.
Yes, they are. Yeah, it's been a bit leaked. I don't know if it was meant to be leaked, but kind of a few people online
Yeah,
got hold of it, and
yeah,
I kind of said to the producers, like, "Oh God, people, people know about this, that the
yeah.
plans." But I think that's maybe a couple years off that one. It's very exciting stuff, and
Yes.
obviously, like Tigger
Like
is like my dream role. So that do
I've
anything
got
to
like a
it.
dream scenario. I don't know why. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I've got this dream scenario where because the thing when it came to the second one,
Hmm.
when you introduce the Tigger, you say owl, you say piglet, and then you say like a door with it looks like a cell. And
Yeah.
clearly that's where Tigger is being kept because
Belongs. Yeah.
you're a bit
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
control. You're a bit
Yeah.
unpredictable. So
Yeah.
I've got a funny idea that potentially Pooh and Tigger aren't going to get along for too long, and hopefully there could be a bit of
Yeah.
a clash there.
Yeah. It's
That will
interesting.
be that will be a good concept within the confines of the monster. Sorry, that's the other one.
Yeah.
The Twisted Childhood universe, where we've had a Freddy versus Jason. Why can't we have
Mhm.
a Pooh versus Tigger film?
That would
That
be
will
really
be
interesting. Yeah,
that
because
will
you
be
never see Pooh
something.
and Tigger on screen as well. Like Owl and Tigger on screen because they go to the warehouse together. But obviously Piglet's dead at this point, so they obviously don't share a moment together. But you never see, yeah, Pooh and Tigger apart
Yeah,
from when he's back in his cage at the end, and then Pooh's in his chair with like his head, inside
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But it would be interesting because as well, there's such like Freddy versus Jason. There's such different fighting styles. Like Pooh is like the big hulking brute who just rips through people and sort of doesn't care, doesn't take his time. He just cuts through people quick. Whereas
Mhm.
Tigger, he's a lot more quick, a lot more agile, but also he takes his time with killing. He's a bit more sadistic. Like he
Yeah,
really wants to
you can see
lengthen
the
a
joy
death.
in his face when he's killing people.
Yeah, I'm constantly, I'm
Where
smiling. That my face hurt after that. I was just smiling at the whole time and snarling and growling.
yes,
But it would be a cool fight because they're very different fighting styles. So it'd be cool to
definitely,
see
definitely.
who would come
That's
out on
something I
top.
would like to see, 100%.
Yeah, let's put a pin in
But
that. Yeah.
so maybe that's something you can suggest to the writers. Who knows?
Yeah. They might already be on it. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But you mentioned Pennywise was an
Hmm.
inspiration for your career.
Hmm.
And I think that definitely plays a part in this particular film that you also have starred in.
Oh yeah, first of them all. Yeah.
Yes, which I literally have just seen.
Okay.
And I have to say I enjoyed it. And your Mad Hatter is mad as a box of frogs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's mental. Yeah, proper mental.
Yes. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a behind the
There we
scenes,
are.
like,
Yeah, I had fingers around my neck. Yeah, I forgot about that. I had a finger necklace. I had a bit of
yeah,
someone's flesh in my
I,
earring.
I definitely see Heath Ledger's Joker inspired this particular look and feel
Yeah,
of the character, as well as, like you mentioned, Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise.
yeah.
Definitely. So, is this obviously that particular film isn't connected to the Twisted Childhood universe? So, how did this one particularly come about?
So this also came from the producer of Winnie the Pooh. He put me forward for it, but it was a different director and stuff for this. So very grateful to the producer of that of the Winnie film, Scott. He's amazing. But yeah, so when I got offered it straight away, I was like, yeah, I love the Joker. I've also got Joker tats as well.
Yeah.
So I love the Joker. It's my dream role. I've always said if I could pick a role to play, it'd be the Joker. And when Scott sent it to me, he said we want it like the Joker mixed with Doomhead from 31. Don't know if you've seen
Hmm.
31. Richard
Yeah, I
Brake's
have, yes.
character.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so Richard Brake's character in that is just an absolute lunatic as well, and like almost like the Joker, but a bit more, I don't know, I guess aggressive, not as theatrical and fun. So I was finding those balances of sort of being a bit more Joker-esque, and then finding the Doomhead in there as well, and being a bit more, yeah, aggressive towards the princesses and
Mm.
stuff. But it was such a fun character. One of those characters that like I did so much preparation for it, but when I was actually on set, I kind of threw it all a bit out the window and kind of just
Hmm.
said have fun with it. Like it's so rare to find a character like that where you can just. I mean, some of the takes I was just coming out with shit that wasn't even in the script. I was just saying so much stuff, and
Well,
the
sometimes
director
that's the best
Cunahan was like, "I
way.
love it." Yeah, I'm a
yeah,
big fan of improv, and there's a lot of
yeah.
improv.
Like I do know the likes of, like, if you look at comedy movies, the likes of Jim
Yeah.
Carrey and Robin
Hmm.
Williams, they would get the script and basically hide away, and the
Hmm.
other actors just had to just react to like whatever came out of their mouth. But I sometimes
Yeah.
think that creates the best reaction,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it feels more natural and organic when that happens because it's a genuine, natural, real reaction to whatever's being said.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's it. That's it. I love it. I do love it, and it's like a more organic, like you said, and the people we're working with are great, and yeah, it was just fun. Also, it's kind of a continuation of Cinderella's Curse with Kelly
yes,
Rianne Sanson. So it was cool to sort of, it's even though it's not TCU, to dive into like another universe, another
yes,
character's been extended. So I always find it really cool to join other like universes, if that makes
yes.
sense.
Well,
So it's really
I,
cool. Yeah.
I, me and my friend, another friend of mine who's also a fellow content creator, well, as I was preparing for the day, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I was, going to be chatting to him. Well,
Mhm.
he had seen, Winnie the Pooh too, and
Yeah.
we were talking, and we were saying, what roles do you think you could see Lewis Santer playing? And you actually went back to your performance
Oh yeah.
as Tigger, and he said he could definitely see you playing a younger Freddy Krueger.
Oh really? Wow. What a compliment
He,
that is.
yeah, he actually,
Say thank you
because
to
of,
your friend. Yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing.
Anthony Jordan of Anthony Jordan Movies and Game, and that's his name. And
Hmm.
basically, obviously, because of the clause and the performance, because
Hmm.
obviously, as you know, the world, if Hollywood is all about reboots or prequels, and
Yeah.
I've always wondered what would happen because in the process of doing Crystal Lake, the Jason
Yes, they
Voorhees
are. Yeah.
prequel sequel. So I've always wondered how would it be if they did a Freddy Krueger prequel series,
Yeah.
and if a young Freddy who then you see he's past and you see what basically turns him into the twisted man he would become
Yeah.
before he became the demon of our dreams.
Hmm.
What twisted him, and we thought you would be perfect at
That's
bringing
an
that
amazing
across.
compliment. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that would be
yeah,
amazing. I mean, I actually looked at the other Freddy Krueger as well. Do you know the one from 2010? I
yes,
forgot his name, but I actually looked at
uh,
his as well, because I was like, I liked his deep voice. He had a bit of a deeper
mm,
voice than
yeah,
Robert England's. So I actually
yeah,
kind of looked at his voice a bit more, funny enough. But I copied Robert England's, not copied, but took inspiration from Robert England's personality and the
yeah,
movement, like with Tigger, because he has the claws like Freddy. I did a lot of like the finger
mhm,
articulating and stuff like that. With some scenes, I'm scraping my nail across the railing and stuff like that. So there was a lot of that in there. But I also
yeah.
mixed it in with the more recent Freddy Krueger, which didn't go as well, I don't think, as
Yeah, the
the
film didn't
originals.
perform as well, but the one thing I always did, it wasn't the actor. I forgot as well the actor's name,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think it was him or his performance. I just think it was the story and the script. It just didn't come
Mm,
across as well, and I think
yeah,
because it's very hard to do a reboot or a reimagining of a much loved classic. You're always
yeah.
going to have the hate, the naysayers that are going to go, it's never going to be as good as the original. Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. It just has
Mm.
to be a good film with a good story. And
Keep the legacy
clearly,
going.
even like
Yeah.
people who didn't probably see the original still didn't enjoy the new one as much. But the one thing everyone praised was his performance, which I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I thought it was
Um,
great. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
But you used to having your head covered in
Yes, I
costume
am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people. My family always say
because,
that. Whenever I say to my family or friends, "Oh, I've got this new film," they always go, "Are you wearing a mask in it?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm wearing a mask, or,
yeah,
or makeup, or scarring, or
yes,
something like that." Yeah.
because you haven't just done Tigger, you've done another kind of character, if you know where
Yes,
I'm going.
the mouse. Yeah, the mouse, the killer.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Mouse of Horrors. Yeah, that was
So
that was another. That one was very much Art the Clown inspired because I don't actually
I
talk in that
really
film.
enjoy. I really enjoyed this. I liked this better than I expected it to, like, because I did went
Really?
in totally blind, not reading up on it,
Yeah.
not knowing about it. And like you say, once again you did another fantastic performance,
Thank
and
you. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. I've not
like
actually seen this film. I need to actually watch it. I've not actually watched this film. I need to sit down at some point and watch it. But I remember obviously filming it, and that was probably the most. Well, maybe I don't know. Tigger's probably more crazy, but the mouse just was meant like because I think when you can't. the thing when you can't speak, it's like, how else can I act? That's how I was. That's where my brain was going. Because with Tigger, I had cool lines, and he was just like badass lines, and Mad Hatter, I was talking all the time. It felt like. So, but with the
Yeah.
mouse, it was like when you can't speak, you can just laugh and move. I was like, I've really got to show my thought process, what the character's thinking, or is he thinking anything? Because he's just batshit. But
Mm.
yeah, it was hard. It was really getting in that, trying to, if that makes sense, trying to find that
Yes.
physicality and show his personality just through movement and through laughter, which is an
Yeah.
interesting thing to do. That's why, like, fair enough to David Thornton, who plays Art the Clown. It's hard
Yeah.
to show thought process with no words for a
Mhm.
whole film, you know.
But
Um,
his face though in his performance, he still has facial expression where
Good
some
point.
where your performance, you're just relying on body language.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
having to
because I had
act
the
with the
eyes and
body.
the teeth through the
Yeah.
mouth. That was literally it.
I think Tigger, you've got more like David Thornton. You've got more like
Mm.
opportunity to perform with, facial expression. Because
Yeah.
yes, you've got the Tigger mask and the teeth, but
Hmm.
you can still kind of see emotion from your face
Yeah, and
or
it all
from your
moves. It's
eyes.
all, yeah,
But
exactly.
when you've got like a mouse head on and you
Yeah.
can't actually do anything, it's very different.
It's
Uh,
all physical, all physical. Yeah, I looked at mime artists for that. I looked at stuff like that, just to show, yeah, just to show this character's personality. And I feel like I did. I feel like I kind of, I felt like I did because came away from that shoot exhausted. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that was another character where you could just let go. Like it was just like,
mhm.
night shoots, and we were in some carnival that we rented out, which was really fun. And yeah, it was just like, hours and hours of just going crazy, which is quite rare. So I'm quite lucky that I've had a lot of these mental, quirky
Yeah.
characters, you know.
But it's the fact that you've got these mental quirky characters that it's getting your name out there within the
Yeah,
genre of horror. And
yeah,
but I do know, obviously, I know you love horror, but I know you probably would like to expand beyond horror and do other things. Like,
yeah,
I could definitely see you in something like Peaky Blinders.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you've
yeah,
got that, I could definitely see you in like a period piece gangster movie or,
yeah.
something
That'd
like
be
that.
very
I
cool.
definitely could see you extend beyond the world of horror.
Yeah.
And a few months ago, well, earlier this year, because as you've mentioned, I'm a big fan of kaiju and the big monster film
Mhm.
genre. I had the pleasure of interviewing Linda Miller,
Oh wow.
who
Okay.
was the star of, the 1960s Godzilla versus King Kong
Oh
film.
wow, that's really cool.
And she had a cameo, but it was cut from a film you starred in.
What film was
which,
that?
which honestly, this is how weird the connection is. I had interviewed her, and then I was looking through her filmography,
Yeah,
and then I had kind of I hadn't at the time, but I was preparing to reach out to you to see if I could do something,
yeah.
and I noticed her name on a film called Game of Death: The Six Doors.
The first one.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, they did about 100, and I think that film holds a world record for the most cameos in any film ever. I
yes,
think it's like 106, is it 104, something like
yeah.
that.
So
That's crazy.
she had literally a cameo, but obviously it wasn't shown in the film.
Yeah,
But I just thought, what a weird connection. I literally had just interviewed her and then was looking for things, and I
yeah.
seen your name attached to a film she had a
It's
cameo in.
honestly, it's crazy. It's such a small industry, and people always say that. When I first sort of started as an actor, everyone said, "Oh, everyone knows everyone," and you kind of go, "All right," and they do. Like literally, you work with someone and you'll mention a name in conversation. I go, oh yeah, I know, I worked with him on this, or I worked with him on that, and you just come across people, especially in England as well. I feel like in America maybe less so, but especially in
Mhm.
the UK because it's obviously a lot smaller. So people tend to see a lot more familiar faces on sets all the
Mhm.
time, and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like there'd be a film that like you did that someone was in, but you didn't see him because you weren't there on the same days as them or something like
yes.
that. Obviously,
Yeah,
that's a cameo,
you
but yeah,
often see like on Hollywood, you'll see like a couple of big names
yeah,
attached to a movie, and then when they do the interviews, even though
mm,
they're a big part of say a big movie, they'll go, "Oh yes, we're attached to a movie, but we didn't actually film a scene together, or weren't on set together." And
Yeah,
it's weird when you hear these stories of, like, say, Robert De Niro wasn't on set, I don't know, with Johnny Depp or whatever, and you're like, how
yeah.
did that not work?
It happened
How,
on Winnie too. It happened on because even with like with Pooh, people were saying, "Oh, what was the guy who played Pooh like?" I was like, I couldn't tell you until after the film was done. We went to a few conventions together. Then I sort of got to know him, but we never had a scene together. So I think we crossed paths once on set when he was leaving set. I was coming on set, and I think we kind of went, "Right, mate," and had a quick chat, and that was literally it.
mm,
And I never saw Al until the rap party. Never saw Piglet until the rap party because Tigger's on his own like the whole film, like we
yeah,
discussed. So
because
people
he's too
assume that I
dangerous
was
to
in
be
that
around
cage. It's like I
anybody.
wasn't actually in the cage, guys. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they filmed the door and put a sound in. Like I
Yeah,
think people think you're actually there. I was like, no, no, no. So the guys are
yeah,
great. Though. I met them eventually, but yeah, it's
yeah,
weird
but
being on set and
yeah,
actually
but
spending
the
time with
reason
them.
he weren't around anybody because he's too dangerous. He's too unpredictable,
That's
Tigger.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When they told me that, I remember being so excited because obviously I watched the first one and Pooh and Piglet are mental. And then they were like, your character's in a straight jacket and it's been ripped open and you're in a cage because you're too crazy for the other guys. You're the most vicious one. You're like the mad dog of the family. So when I
Mhm.
heard that, I was like, I love that. I love that concept that they're like, even for them, they're like, he's too
Yeah.
much, you know? Like in the cartoon.
Definitely, where he's
Yeah.
super hyperactive, isn't he? He's like
Yeah.
jumping about all the time. So,
Mhm.
so Game of Death, what was your experience with that one? And I know there's a sequel that's come out, which is called Dark
Yes.
Secrets.
Yes, the Game of Death. Yes, so that was so Timo, the director of that, reached out to me for a cameo for the first one. Funny enough, he was a big fan of Tigger, and
Hmm.
then so there we go, more connections. They're like
Yeah,
just crazy small
I told you,
industry.
Tigger's opened the world
Honestly, yeah, he's a
opportunities.
massive. It really has. He's a massive horror fan. So he said, "Oh, we'd love to get you doing a cameo for like 30 seconds. We've got this character already written out. We've got a story written out. This is your name." I was like, "This is really cool. I've got a whole little character here." And then about 30 seconds, he said, "You can film it in your own home because it is like someone like this on an interview on the news thing." So I filmed it in
Hmm.
my own home and then sent it over to him, and that was it. And literally, I said, "Keep me updated on the film. Great talking to you." That was the end of that. And then about a year later, he messaged me and said, "Hey, we're doing a sequel, and we loved your cameo. So do you want to flesh out this character, Brian? His name is Brian J. Williams."
Yeah,
He said, "Do you want to flesh it out?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Definitely." So then they literally, I think 2 months later, got flown out to where did we film it? Hamburg. Yeah, Hamburg in Germany. And we filmed it there, and yeah, it was an absolute dream to go to Germany and film out there. And now we're like making a video game. There's a video game getting made of it.
yeah.
There's a
I noticed the video
cartoon.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy. So I'm actually going to be in the recording studio soon with those guys to record
yeah.
some lines for the video game for Brian. And there's a cartoon coming out, which I don't actually, I should not maybe announce that, but I know they're talking about a cartoon. So there we go. And there's like talks of a third film, like loads. So it's a really cool, like another universe, like that I've joined. That
Yeah.
and Brian's so different to what I've done with the other films that we've mentioned, which was
Hmm.
quite. As much as I my favorite thing to play is a horror villain. I do love it, but it's
Yeah,
nice every now and then to have something a bit different, a bit refreshing,
yeah. Yeah,
and it
that,
was
like I say,
comedic.
you
So
do want to try other things. Like you say,
yeah,
you kind of carving your niche in horror, but you're also an actor who wants to
yes,
explore, different roles, like I say, different genres. I could see it as a gangster on something like
Peaky
Peaky
Blinders. I love
Blinders.
that.
Eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Could definitely see you on something like that. A young Freddy Krueger could definitely see you
yeah. I
doing
mean, that
that.
would be the dream. Yeah, that would be
Um,
one day, one day.
I could actually even see you play a British soldier on, say, a MonsterVerse project with
Yeah.
Godzilla and thing of that
I get that a
nature.
lot. I get soldier look a lot. I did a headshot session recently, and the guy was like, "Next time you're in my studio, so bring some like old World War I sort of uniform." And he was like, "We'll
Mhm.
shave your head, and then we'll." I was like, "All
Mm,
right." So maybe I'll get that
yeah,
look done.
yeah. Well, like a war
Yeah,
movie, it could definitely be in your future because
yeah,
there's always different period pieces like that. But
yeah,
because of the success and the impact of course, the Twisted Childhood universe. You
mhm.
have, you did recently, did you just win an award for Best Newcomer?
Yeah. So that was a really nice thing to receive. About I think it's about a week ago now. I had an online article. I got tagged in a load of. I didn't actually notice it. I had a load of people send it to me. And they were like, "I think you just won an award." And I was like, "Have I?" And then I was like, "Well, where? Like, I didn't know about this." And then I think on X it was going a bit crazy on there. So I looked on it, and yeah, I think it was the Breakout Star of 2025 award, and it was for Mouse of Horrors and First of Them All. And then there's also, I've been nominated for Best Male Lead for Fairest of Them All, just that one.
Oh, that's
And
brilliant.
that's getting announced on the 15th of December, I believe. But it's really cool because I'm up against Scott Adkins, who I love. Scott Adkins. Like
Oh
I
God,
did
yes,
stage
I
combat
love.
at drama school, so we studied his films at drama school. So
I'm a
now to
huge
be
Scott
up against
Atkins
him
fan.
for, yeah, same. Like we literally studied his fighting style for our course. So to be up against him for an award is like a real
Like,
pinchman like myself moment,
he's
you know.
another actor I think should be way bigger than he is.
Yeah,
In two because of
yeah,
his work. Like, I honestly thought after his performance in John Wick 4, that was it. He was going to
yeah,
skyrocket.
yeah.
Uh,
But it just
if you,
hasn't. It just hasn't. Yeah, it's crazy.
have you seen his latest film, Prisoner of War?
I saw one recently where I didn't watch the whole film. I watched some clips online because I just
Well, he's
just watched
recently
stuff on
just
YouTube. But there's one here like the silver teeth. Is it that one and the big scar? No,
no, no,
no, no, no,
no.
no, no. Okay,
This is where he's a British soldier who's a prisoner of war
right,
during like
right.
and he basically he's in this war camp, and the story is
Yeah.
the commander basically pits him against all these top fighters in like a fighting competition in the
Oh,
war
that's
camp.
cool.
So he's fighting all these men as well as trying to find a way to escape. It's a
Oh, that's
really
cool.
good movie. That it's a really interesting film.
That might be the
Uh,
film he's up for the award for. No, maybe not. I don't know. That I forgot what film he's up for because it's me and him and like four other or five other
yeah,
actors.
Prisoner of War. It's called.
Might be that film. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
well, good luck to both of you
Thank
because
you.
I'm not gonna. I would hate to be the one to pick the winner.
No, you
You
don't
know,
have to do that. It's fine. Yeah, yeah.
but
No, it's all
that's a
good. It's all
tough.
good.
That will be a tough category
Yeah, but they're
to.
very different. I mean, the Mad Hatter like was it was just so like not surprising, but like I didn't know the film would like get much attention as it got. Like when it first came out, I
Mhm,
thought, oh, we'll see how this performs. And then yeah, it's got loads of really positive, nice messages from people
mhm.
online. And then now it's up against bloody Scott Adkins and
Yeah,
stuff, which is so cool to say. So yeah, yeah, just very
yeah.
grateful, very grateful.
But yeah, honestly, you're all like I say, you're a young actor with a huge future ahead of you.
Thank you.
You know, you've already started making waves in horror, and like I say, you've started to do other things like puppeteering.
Yeah.
Directing and producing is definitely in your future. I can definitely
Yeah.
see that because you've got a
Just
passion
started
for it.
doing it actually for a film
I,
that we
wa-
start filming in like 2 weeks. Yeah, just said 2 weeks.
I know,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
getting there. I'm getting there.
Sorry.
There's
You've
always
done
a
your research.
method in my madness.
Yeah.
And
That's all good.
honestly, we're gonna get there because I seen you're actually writing this as well. You've
Yeah,
actually started writing, and it is
yeah.
a project called, I believe, if it comes up,
That's it.
that's
Season
it,
13. Yeah,
season
that's it.
13.
Season
So
13.
this it's top secret. There's not much out there about it, I don't think. What
No,
is it
no.
you can tell about it? What you would like to tell us about this particular
So
project?
what I can say about it, so the concept of the film is, so we wanted to, me and my best mate Jack, we're the director, he's directing it as well. We're both co-writers and co-producers, and in the film as well. But we've assembled a great team, and it's basically like Love Island meets Saw, or like X on the Beach
Oh
meets
yeah.
Saw. So we kind of were discussing like how stuff like Saw is not really done anymore, apart from the actual Saw films. We don't really see stuff like that. So we're
Mhm.
trying to reboot that kind of idea of horror, but at the same time blending it in with like society now. And obviously
Yeah.
now like Love Island's huge, content creation's huge, and like
Mhm.
everyone wants to be on social media making content now. So we thought if we can take characters like that, like in the real world now, and apply it to like an old film, like, well, I say old, but do you know what I mean? Like a classic film, like Saw, like the first one. Like that's something I'd want to watch. So then we sort of sat down and we put our heads together, and then yeah, now it's we've written the script, we've built we've assembled an amazing cast, and like the DOP we've got is amazing, the sound, like everyone we've got, the SFX department are amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
Have you
another
got
pinch
people?
myself moment. Sorry, what's that?
Have you got people who you've worked with on other films you've already
Yeah,
been working on that
yes.
involved with
So
this?
fun fact, so the guy who, so one of the characters in it is a very tragic story. Derek, the character's name, is played by Jay Robertson, who actually is the police officer I kill in Winnie 2. I eat him when I
Oh,
say boo in his face. We got him on board because he's amazing. We've got Alex Butler, who played Piglet in the Piglets spin-off movie. We've got Shady Reagan, who's also in that film. We've got some other amazing actors I've worked with before: Conor Horrigan, Lauren Stirk, who was in Cinderella's Revenge, I think. I think that one is that the other
Okay.
one. I think it's called Revenge or something like that. So we've built like an
Like,
amazing cast. Yeah, Revenge. I think. So we've got Kirsten Revenge, yeah, and then like the crew, we've got Loki Films, who's our DOP, and he's worked with the likes of like Slipknot and stuff like that. Which and like some amazing artists like that. And yeah, just and the SFX department, Meg, who's our head of SFX, I worked with on Mouse of Horrors. I worked with her on Ferris of them All. So like we said, it's such a small industry, so it's just amazing. Like getting people that you've worked with before and you know their ability and you can trust them and you get on with them and yeah, it's just such a positive experience. And it's a bit weird that we're filming in like 2 weeks
yeah.
because it's just we've been sort of prepping for this since June, so now
Well,
it's all
it's
sort
a
of
big thing to do, going
yeah,
from an actor to now producing, writing, potentially, directing. But it's
yeah,
also, you don't know how it's going to work out if you don't take the risk,
yeah, that's it,
and,
that's it.
you're involved in an industry that not many people have, you know, you've got millions of people that want to be successful, become actors, get involved in
Hmm.
the business, and some make it, some don't. So
Yeah.
you've done very well so far, and I'm
Hmm.
sure you've got nothing but more success in the future.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
Um,
But yeah, like I said, it's
uh,
a risk, it's all a risk, yeah. And
yeah, but
yeah,
like you say, you take the risk and see where it goes. So I look forward
that's
to
it.
whatever season 13 will be about. But I do really find the concept interesting.
Yeah,
Social media, like you see, is king right now. Everyone
yeah,
wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants to be, you
yeah.
know,
And
the
that's it. And
next.
we're kind of making them famous in a way because like we've got cameras in the rooms. It's all set. About 95% is set in one room. There's one other room as well, but like it's mainly set in this one torture chamber that they're all sort of stuck in, and
Mhm.
they're all getting video for the dark web. So that's the concept. So they are all getting video. There's this like so there is that darker side of online presence and stuff like that. But they've all been trapped and they've got to basically participate in awful games that obviously end up in some gory deaths. Like the gore is insane. Like we're getting stuff sent to us now. For some of the stuff that happens to the contestants, and it's so gory. Like even I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing
Yeah.
some of these
Well,
things.
yeah. If you ever need a
Um,
little fat ginger guy from Newcastle to cut up, you know where I am.
yeah,
Uh,
well, yeah, in the sequel, we need more contestants. So yeah, I'll give you a call. Yeah.
yes. Like I've done like I wouldn't know how to stop it. I've done a little bit of creative writing in my time. Like I've come
Mhm.
up with little short horror stories because away from this, me YouTube channel, which I've only been doing for 2 years, was
Oh
something I was
wow.
inspired to do by other friends who I met that
Mhm.
also content creators.
All
So I've
right.
been just doing this for 2 years, just seeing the way it takes us. But I've done like away from here. I actually work in a hospital,
Oh,
and
okay.
I've been a hospital porter. I'm a care assistant currently in a hospice, which can be quite emotional,
Yeah, I can
demanding,
imagine.
but it's a rewarding job. But I once had an experience where I had to take a body down to the morgue.
Oh wow.
I
Oh
was
my god.
taking this body down the morgue, and I thought I heard voices behind us. It was a weird experience.
Really?
Yeah, so I wrote a short story based on that experience.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
So, so
That must be cool as well. It's actually coming from a real story as well. Like obviously, what we've written is complete fiction and just from our
mhm,
messed up brains.
yeah,
But that's cool. That it's from a real
yeah.
experience.
I think even with fiction, like certain experience, you'll probably have inputted in some of it. Like, for
Hmm.
example, if you've ever been like, I know if you've got a character who's been in a horrible relationship and
Yeah.
your boyfriend, girlfriend's arguing, and you've had that experience. These are real life events or situations you can input into your creative writing
Yeah.
as a writer.
That's it. Yeah, and
Uh,
also because there's different like relationships because it is like Love Island. It's not like Saw where they're on their own, like they're with their partner. And like we really took our time sort of developing the different relationships, like who's the ones that are truly in love and like the relationship goals you might want to call them.
mhm.
Who's the toxic relationship? Who's the relationship where like is it fake and just for social media, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
we developed them sort of relationships and to apply it to like modern day how it is now really online.
yeah.
Um, with also that element of like classic horror. Like for example, my character, the host, I'm the host of the whole event. I've made him
Okay.
very much like the Joker again was a big inspiration, but also like from like Pagan Min. I don't know if you ever played Far Cry
Are you
4.
wearing another mask? Will we actually
Yes, I've
get
got
to
another
see your
mask.
face?
Yeah, I can tell you though, the mask. We weren't going to do a mask. It was just going to be scarring. Then it was face paint. Then it was like back and forth for the SFX. And then Meg, our head of SFX, designed a custom mask for the host. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I can't wait for the world to see it. It is a mask that like I can't like compare it to anything. Like you might say, oh, it's a bit like this one. Like it's so different, and it
Whoa.
it just displays the character so perfectly. And like when I first saw the sketch of it, it's disturbing. It's really disturbing. I was like, oh my god. So like the mask we've got is really cool, and she's catered
So
it to my
what
face. So
could,
like my mouth is out, my eyes are out, so I can still do
yeah,
some. I can work with some bits of my face, but yeah, overall, we want the host to look disturbing, to
yeah.
make everyone else a bit more unsettled. So yeah, I feel like a mask had to be done. So
So we
yeah,
potentially could have another icon, a character on my hands,
yeah,
is what you're trying to
potentially,
tell me. Yes.
potentially, yeah, yeah, yeah. The host is
Yeah.
like something I just because we were the writers, me and Jack, my mate. We've just, it's so cool having your own creative control over something and saying like, what kind
Mhm.
of character would I want to give to the world? And that's kind of what the host is really in a way. Like I've
Mhm.
tried to cater it to an audience so people enjoy it for entertainment purposes, but at the same time, I'm given something that I'd like to play like the Joker, like them sort of like very much like Victor Zsasz,
Mm.
Scarecrow, those sort of
Yeah.
DC villains, like those really quirky, edgy DC villains.
Mhm.
So they're all sort of in there in one big pot of madness, and
Yeah.
that's what the host is really.
Yeah. You've
Yeah.
mentioned previously if you could join, say, like the comic book world, your ideal character would be the Joker. But
Mhm.
outside of the Joker, what other character would you prefer to play? Because I know Bill Skarsgård's rumored to be playing the Joker in the new DC
Oh,
universe.
really? I didn't know that rumor. Oh, okay, if I had to choose
Yeah.
another character, I'd say Scarecrow. I love Scarecrow. I like the characters that are
Hmm.
really quirky and quite theatrical. So I feel like Scarecrow's a bit like that. I
Hmm.
love the whole fear aspect, like the fear gas, and like then you might do some crazy shit. I love Victor Zsasz. I think he's a really interesting
Yes.
character. Like he scars himself and like believes he's doing the right thing by freeing people from the world. Like that's really cool. So them sort of characters. The Riddler is another one. Like I love the new Riddler, but I also love Jim Carrey's Riddler as well. Like the really
Hmm.
quirky,
Yeah.
larger than life Riddler. So them sort of characters, I feel like I don't belong in like Bane and Killer Croc. I don't really belong in
Yeah.
that category. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
more over with the larger than life theatrical ones. So yeah, but that's why I love DC. They've got so many good villains there, like so
I
many.
could see you play the mutant in the X-Men. Did you ever watch the 90s animated show and
No,
Disney have done like a new series called X-Men 97, I think it's
oh
called.
really?
There's a character in there who it's a tragic character, but he's friends with Wolverine called Morph, where
Morph.
he's
Okay, I'm gonna
he
write that
basically
down.
he's a changeling. He
Okay.
basically can change into different characters.
Oh,
It
cool.
I could see you playing that character in the reboot.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I've written it down. Morph. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, like stuff like
yeah,
that. Them sort of characters, like Bullseye as well, is like Bullseye obviously being in Marvel,
no,
is another
yeah.
sadistic sort of character.
Is it Colin Firth?
Farrell, Colin Farrell,
Farrell
yeah, yeah,
did it
yeah.
there.
Because there's no reason for him to be insane. Like, he's just someone with really good aim. But like for some reason, the Marvel writers thought, let's make this guy like the most sadistic Marvel character or Marvel villain. Sorry, and yeah, that's why I love that character as well.
Hmm.
Gore the God Butcher is another one. Christian Bale's version of
Oh,
that I thought was
brilliant!
so. I think people did not appreciate his. I know people did not like the film. The film did not do very
Yeah,
well, but
I
his
think people
performance
feel
that
like
was
they butchered
so
his
good. I thought,
character. I
yeah,
think people because he's meant to be this vicious character, and he looked amazing. Like
yeah, God, yeah,
the makeup and the artistry behind putting them together. I think
yeah,
people just didn't really over like the story, but I like
no.
Christian Bale's performance in it.
Yeah, so that's another like Marvel kind of don't feel like they have those sort of characters that are really interesting and layered, but I feel like Gore the God Butcher is one of them, and I feel like he
Hmm.
did a good job. And I feel like if you take him out of the
Hmm.
film, that was all amazing, but then the film itself, I was like, didn't
Hmm.
really land with me either. So yeah.
Yeah, if you could join a certain franchise away from
Mhm.
horror, what would it be?
Oh
Of
wow, what a
out,
question. Um, a certain franchise away from horror, like oh my mind goes to horror instantly. This is, I need to get out of
yeah.
that. I went to Scream, all that straight away. Um, I would say. Do you know what I'd
Because
love to do? Do you know, like the Hangover trilogy? Like,
yes,
I
it's a
know that's
comedy.
ended. That's obviously done now. They only did three, and that's great. But if they did a fourth one, out say that one day they went right, fuck it, we're coming back. That would be like a dream to be in that. I just love those films, like those comedy films, the chaos of it. Like that would be amazing to do something. Whether I'm a part of the friendship group or I'm one of those quirky characters they meet in their journey to remember what happened the night before. Of like that would be
Yeah.
amazing. Something like
Have
that, like so
yeah,
different from horror, you know.
yeah. Have you ventured much into the world of comedy?
Yeah, so I'm in a part of a comedy series called Austin that's just released in Australia. I think it's coming out in the UK soon. I'm
Oh,
in an
cool.
episode of that. And I also just did a film in July, and it was a comedy action. It's a bit like sort of Tropic Thunder, that kind of humor, like really mental humor, but also very violent. But I can't talk about that film at all until like next year at some point.
Oh, no, that's
It
cool.
was no, I can't. It's so annoying because that character was like, and apart from like Tigger, that was another dream role. Like it was like obviously I can't say too much now, but just the writing and the way he spoke and like who he was and like his appearance, I was like, this is just like me in another world. So he's quite mental though, so maybe like the bad stuff, but all the good
I
stuff
did
is
see, I did see. I don't know. It's on your social media. I think you did
yeah.
like a sketch where you were like in therapy with your girlfriend,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like comedic. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was a commercial for McDonald's actually. So that was one
Mhm.
of my first ever acting jobs. I literally just wrapped on Tigger and then I got that job sent. And normally when you get commercials, you think, okay, it's a commercial, like, you know, a couple of days, whatever. And you think the script's normally one line, one cheesy line you say to the camera and that's it. But then I got that script and I'm like, oh, this is all going to be improv. It's going to be like hours of shooting. You've got a whole character here and it's a therapy session, like counseling. I was like, this is so different. I've never seen a commercial like this. And I did the audition for that, and we actually had two rounds of auditions, which is crazy. And yeah, it was such a fun little thing. It felt a lot like The Office. It had that kind of vibe in the
Yes.
writing, because they gave us like prompt questions to answer in character. But it was all literally the whole thing was improv. So I think we filmed for about 4 hours, and like we just chatted so much crap, literally on that
Yeah.
sofa. And then the best bits they put into the actual edit. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And you
crazy.
also were in that advert with Christopher Waltz, which was for,
Yes.
was it Eon Energy or was it?
Eon Energy, yeah, that was
Yeah.
literally just after McDonald's. Actually, I'd just wrapped on that, and the director of that commercial just flew out to Barcelona, and I had a message to my agent saying they're interested in me for that like little character there who comes on and basically shuts up Christoph Waltz and says, "Already on it, mate. Like, don't worry yourself. We'll take it from
Yeah.
here," sort of thing. And I thought,
Yeah.
what a fucking amazing thing! Like to go over to Barcelona and just tell Christoph Waltz, who was like literally one of my favorite actors,
Mhm.
like in my top five, and just to
Yeah.
tell him like enough. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I called him mate
Who
and
would
like
have
stuff like
thought?
that.
Who would
Yeah,
have thought Tigger would be telling Christopher Waltz to shut
yeah,
up?
that's it. And I get like people on Instagram saying that they're like Tigger's now a van driver or stuff like that. I'm like, mate, I said, yeah, it's just the crazy
Yeah.
world of acting. You never
I've
know
re-
what you're doing.
I recently, well, I watched it and I reviewed it. It's on my channel now at the minute. Me
Mhm.
review of the new Frankenstein, where Christopher Waltz is in that.
Yeah, he actually just filmed that after he literally went straight from Barcelona to do that film. I remember hearing about it. Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
crazy. Is it
His
good?
role's not a big role. He is in it. In
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil it for it, but what happens if his character is quite
yeah.
interesting.
Oh,
And
okay.
then obviously he's working with Oscar Isaac in the movie,
Yeah,
who plays
yeah,
Victor Frankenstein. Mia Goth, who's gorgeous.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. She's great. Yeah.
yeah, so
Mm.
uh,
I'll have to
that
check it
was
out. Yeah, it's on my
yeah,
watch list. I need to check it out
yeah.
definitely.
So that's currently on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, so
This is
you've got
Coke, by
it.
the way. It's not beer. I'm not drinking beer.
All right, I've got my can of Pepsi.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not
So
having it. Yeah.
yeah,
But it was so cool.
so
Yeah, I remember literally went. I think he did a week in Barcelona for that commercial, and they had to get it done like that date, and then he flew out straight to. Yeah, one of the producers told me I was doing Frankenstein, and I didn't know anything about the film at the time because this was like a year and a half ago now,
yeah,
or even longer than that. And I remember thinking, "Oh my god, Frankenstein! What movie is that?" And then literally, lo and behold, you hear about
yeah.
this one now. It's going crazy.
Oh,
So
like Guillermo del Toro, who's one of my absolute favorite
he's
directors.
amazing. Yeah,
Um, Pan's Labyrinth, love that movie.
Yeah,
Obviously, I loved his version of Hellboy when
yeah,
he did Blade 2. He did Crimson Peak, another fantastic gothic horror
yeah. Great
movie.
film, Crimson Peak. Yeah, yeah,
So that's definitely where you could get yourself involved in, hopefully
yeah.
one day.
Yeah, it's really
Uh,
interesting. It's so interesting, just like because the industry is small, and like you hear about like I was recently chatting to like the Joker's Wild YouTube short film that came out,
yes, yes,
and me and him, he's sort of been he liked my Mad Hatter portrayal, and me and him have gone back and forth like just chat like general chit chat about like what
yeah,
he's doing, what I'm up to, and it's just stuff like that. You never know. Like we said about potential collaboration, like you just don't know where like this industry
mhm,
where it can take you. And like you said, just from knowing
yeah,
people, getting on people's radars, like
yeah.
and just collaborations can happen anywhere, and it's such a positive thing.
Yeah, it's like me 2 years ago. I started this channel just as like a hobby, and
Yeah,
I never thought I'd be talking to a amazing young actor from a
yeah,
film that I watched and really enjoyed, and took the
I
risk to
appreciate it.
I took the risk to reach out to you, and here we are
Yeah,
chatting
yeah, and
today.
I'm
So
glad
I
to be
do
here.
appreciate, you taking time out, of your busy career to,
Mm,
give, talk about your career and, this, let me subscribers and people in general hear what you've got to
yeah,
say.
I
And
appreciate it.
speaking of the people, what's it like going to the conventions?
Conventions are crazy. Like they're honestly like still surreal to me. Like we went the first time we sort of had like signings and like sort of fans come up to get stuff signed was in Los Angeles. So the film came out we did a premiere in the UK, and then about 2 weeks
Mhm.
later, which was March 2024, we went out to Los Angeles. We went to the Universal Studios and had like 3 nights of Winnie 2 running each night. And I think on the first night we had a Q&A on in the cinema. There's a packed out cinema, and we went up there. And I remember being really nervous because I've never done anything like that, like
Yeah,
in front of an audience, talking with a mic in front of an audience. So that was really quite a big deal for me, and we did that. And then after the Q&A, the host of it said, "Oh, if you guys want to come down, if we all got given posters, is like if you want
hmm
your posters signed by the cast and the director and stuff, come down." And that was the moment I was like, "Oh my god, this film's like really had an impact on people." Like there was a big
yeah,
queue, and they were coming up to me asking for selfies, and like you feel like being like, for me, like I graduated from drama school like 6 months
yeah,
before that. So when they ask, "Oh, can I have your autograph?" You're like, "You sure? Like you want a selfie with me?" Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that feeling doesn't really go away. Like 2 years later, I'm still like I was in one in Germany a couple months ago. And Germany, by the way, like the German fans, the horror fans there are so loyal, and like a few of them have
yeah.
come to every single time I've gone to a convention in Germany, they're there. And yeah, just like the queues at Germany were insane, and it's a surreal feeling, but it's almost like it's always the best feeling as well because it's like just as an actor get recognised, like you said, for your work and stuff like that. Like it means the world. Especially when they talk about Tigger and then they mention other ones as well, like Mouse of Horrors and Ferris and the Mall and whatever else you're doing. Like it is a really beautiful feeling, but it is also surreal at the same time, and it is
hmm
like constantly pinching yourself.
Yeah,
Um, but it's always the
well,
best as well because like horror fans are the best. Like I'm a horror fan myself, so like to
yeah,
talk about horror with horror fans is amazing. And also like because I'm a horror fan, I was in Canada last year, and like I look up the table and it was like Eli Roth was up there. Do you know what I mean? Or is this
yeah.
mic out? Is that just turned off?
No, no, I can hear you.
You can hear me. You can hear me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll try the other one. It's just gone red. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
And yeah, then Eli Roth would be up on the table. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Mm. Well,
And
this is what you dream of as a
crazy.
kid, isn't it? When you got into this industry, or when you say, "Oh,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
would
yeah,
I like to be
yeah,
when I grow up? I'd like to try and become an actor." Everyone's
yeah,
got ambition, and it's like what I said to you before. You've got millions of people with the same dreams and aspirations, and only
yeah.
so many people make it. So you've done very well for yourself, and you
Yeah.
should be proud of what you've achieved.
Thank
And the
you.
fact that you're sitting across a few tables down from Eli Roth, people who
Yeah.
you've admired, who've made some fantastic horror films,
Hmm.
in general. And
Thanks,
like you
man.
see,
I appreciate
I'm
it.
a fan of your work. Like I
Yeah.
say, I loved. And one thing I'll say, you've got like the big stream movie studios that have created the likes of Marvel and DC and the MonsterVerse for the legendary Star Wars. When it comes to horror in general, horror's always felt like it's been like it is a well known genre. It makes money. It's popular, but it's
Mm.
always felt like it's not as appreciated as like other genres.
Yeah. It's always the
And
bottom of the pile, it feels like a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and one thing I appreciate about the creator of the Twisted Childhood universe is the fact that you've had somebody that came with an idea to take all these, childhood properties that are now coming into the public domain, and he's now
Yeah,
creating a universe with it.
yeah.
And not Hollywood would not have took a chance on that, because I don't
No,
think they would have seen it or looked
with the
at it and thought, what a
backlash and stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah. And now it's becoming something special.
yeah,
it's gaining a following, it's gaining a cult following,
yeah.
thanks to the success of the first one. Yeah, yes, low budget, not the film that they intended, but
Hmm.
because of its popularity and the money it made, we then did get the true adaptation of the film he wanted.
Yeah.
And
And I always
now
tell people as
it's,
well that the
you
first one
know,
was needed. It was the foundation. Like
yeah,
people might slate the first one and say, oh, whatever they want to say about it. But without the first one, there is no Winnie 2, there's no Peter Pan, there's no Bambi,
yeah,
Pinocchio, none of it. And like
yeah.
that was the foundation but beneath it all is that film. And that's
Yeah,
what got it all on the map and then
yeah,
got
it
everyone
was the
involved.
foundation, it was the cornerstone, and at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you're not going to know if you, like we said before, you need to take a risk. And the
Yeah.
director had a dream, had an idea, he came up with a dream and idea, he tried it. It might not have worked. Well, it's not that it didn't work. It wasn't
Yeah.
his true vision. Then he made his true vision with the sequel.
Now it's out there in the
And
world.
now you've got the Conjuring universe, which is expanding. You've got Insidious. You've got now Black Phone, that's a franchise
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
terrify. But now you've got another name on the block that is gaining,
Yeah.
more
Oh.
following. That's me
Yeah, yeah.
cats.
Oh, is it our best?
That's me
But yeah,
cat.
no, you're right. You're right.
Um,
Yeah.
so, and now you've got the Twisted Childhood universe, which has grown
Hmm.
exponentially, and hopefully you're going to be a part of that for a very long time.
Yeah, I
And
had this conversation with the producer once, and we said like, "How long do you reckon I'll play Tigger for?" Because they regenerate, so these characters technically can't die. So we were joking saying I'll be an old man still playing Tigger, like I'll
well,
be cracking my back and stuff like that, but
well,
still
look at the
bouncing off
guy
the
who
walls.
played the original Michael Myers. He came back,
Yeah,
and he's coming back to do the stop motion for the Michael
yeah,
Myers
it's a
game.
video game, isn't it? Yeah, is
Yeah,
it a video game? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Might be
put
doing
it
that.
this way: you're not going to be short of a bob or two. You're going to constantly have things coming your way thanks to this amazing iconic character.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And that's why that one's always good, even though we have Pooniverse, Winnie 3, maybe well, a lot more Winnies and Tigger's Return, all those films, but like Winnie 2 always have like a special place in my heart because of that
mm,
reason. Because it was the first one, it was the first introduction to that character. And now we've obviously got like a load of characters, which is amazing. But yeah, I'm always gonna look back at Winnie 2 and be like, that's the one that, like you said, put me on the map with the
yeah.
horror genre
And
and
all
with
we
the
need
movie
now,
industry in general.
but you're
Yeah.
not famous yet until you get
Yeah.
a pop vinyl.
Yeah, I know. Do you know, it's so funny. I've literally skimmed it. I've scraped the surface of that because I met a fan in Germany. Flo, his name is, and he's made me a custom Funko Pop, and it's getting sent
Mm.
to the UK now. Which I think he's just posted it, so I'm going to try and do a little unboxing video on
Oh,
Instagram.
oh,
So
cool.
I'm like, it's not like a chain of it. I know what you mean. It's not like official,
Yeah.
but it's scraping the surface of a
Yeah, like
Tigger.
who was it? There was she'd been going for years and years, a famous pop
Yeah,
singer, and she said, "I'm not famous, but now I'm famous because I've got a pop vinyl." I think it
that
was
it seems
somebody
that
like
way, doesn't it?
I think it was somebody like Mariah Carey or somebody like
Oh,
massive
really?
who's been around for years. Probably wasn't her, but it was like Taylor Swift or someone's like, "I'm famous because I've got a
Yeah.
pop vinyl,"
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
think that's hilarious. Like if
That's the judgment of yeah, the
yeah.
measurement of success
I
is that.
definitely think toys could be in the future for the characters if it keeps growing, because
Yeah.
I've got a lot of the NECA Movie Maniac series. I've got Michael Myers, Jason, Chucky.
Oh yeah.
They are well known for making. They've just released the new Pennywise figure for the Welcome to Dairy
Oh
series.
yeah, of course,
So
yeah.
I definitely think if the the Twisted Childhood universe keeps growing, there'll
Yeah.
definitely be a Tigger figure, and I'll be first in the queue to buy one.
They've made some custom ones, but yeah, I know what you mean. There's been no sort of we had one company make a few, I think, out in New York or something. We had Yeah, we had someone. They did a post recently, the Pooh Instagram page. Like that's all the gang were made, like Peter Pan as well, and everyone. But they've not, like you said, done a chain like bunch of the Tigger figures or Pooh figures yet. So yeah, waiting for the day that happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like stuff like that is just. I mean, when I went to like a convention and saw someone dressed to Tigger, like stuff like there's
Mhm.
little things like that, figures and cosplays and stuff
Yeah, it
are the
shows
real
you the
pinch me
impact the
moments.
movie's made and the
Yeah,
impact of your character. It's
yeah,
like I say,
yeah.
you've had the Boba Fett effect.
Yeah. So I've got Darth Maul, Boba Fett. Yeah, I've got
You
my
know,
Tigger one
so
there, my Mickey Mouse one from Mouse of
yeah,
Horrors there.
so
Um, so yeah, it's cool to sort of have stuff that you're a fan of, and then have some of your own work on your arm and
yeah,
mix it up. But yeah, so
yeah. But
crazy.
honestly, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Lewis.
Yeah,
It's
thank
I've
you,
had a blast. Like literally, thank you for taking the time out. Much
thank you for
respect
having me on.
for everything you've done so far and everything that you're all going to be doing. Like you say, you're doing acting, you're now doing writing, you've done puppeteering, and hopefully you're going to do more producing and directing in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah,
But
it's a whole new feeling and experience. So I'll keep going with it. Yeah.
yeah, so if people want to follow you, how can they find you, Lewis?
So I'm mainly on Instagram. So it's at
Mhm.
Lewis Santer. My name is in that box. At Lewis
Yeah,
Santer.actor. So I'm mainly active on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. I'm on YouTube and stuff like that. But I'm not as active on there. But if you do want to get in touch with me or just sort of keep updated with what I'm doing or the crazy stuff that I'm up to, then Instagram's normally the best
yeah,
to follow me on. So
yes.
yeah,
I'll put a link on the video when it's all said and
brilliant.
done so
Thank
people
you.
can follow you. But this has been a blast, Lewis. Thank you
Lovely.
very,
Thank
very
you.
much. Is there anything else you would like to say for anybody watching or
Just
something
let
you
me
would
know
like
when you
to
want me back
say?
on. When
Yeah.
Puniverse is out, you know, or Winnie 3 or any of the others or any other movies, season
Oh,
13, whatever, you
well,
give me a message and I'll be back on.
oh, 100%. I would
Yeah.
love to have you on. And if you could, bring a few of your friends along who have
Yeah.
worked on the movie as well, that would be a
I'll
blast
get
as
a little
well.
podcast going, get one of their own little boxes, get Pooh on and everyone. Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
cool.
100%.
Yeah.
That would be a dream for me to come true
Yeah.
if I could arrange something like that. But this has been a
Yes.
blast. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
giving me some of your time to do this today. But this has been the Entertainment Headquarters. This has been Into the Darkness. Thank you so much, Lewis. People, check out his career, check out his movies. They're fantastic. He's a young actor with a big future ahead of him, and
Thank you.
I can just see it growing and growing and growing. So
Thank
keep
you.
up the work, and I'm going to keep on watching. But
Thank you. Appreciate
for
it.
everybody watching, thank you for watching us. This is the lovely Lewis Santer, aka Tigger,
Yeah.
aka the Mad Hatter, aka whatever the hell he wants to be.
A lot of crazy other shit. Yeah.
Yes. Catch you later, guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Keep loving your movies, keep on loving all things entertainment, and we'll catch us all at the next one.